Welcome to Touring the AFC South. I am your host, Mike Patton, and it is March. Of course, that's the off season, the combine, all those different things going on. But for me, it's Women's History Month. And last year I started something where I brought on all Black women as guests because I wanted to honor them and have them tell their stories. And this month, I've decided to do the same thing. This year, I should say, I've decided to do the same thing. I wanted to bring on the creator of NoDat, Aireka Harvell. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. Now, I know you're new to the guest seat on the show, so I'm gonna kind of guide everything. I got us all covered. But of course, with the show, Touring the AFC South is available on all listening platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, you name it, we're there. But of course, when we start the show, we always do the get off your chest segment. Now, of course, usually I'm saying something that's frustrating me or mad or anything like that. But for this month, we will be doing women's history facts, specifically Black women history facts. So with this episode, we're going to start off with Miss Sarah Good. Now, Sarah Good was born in 1855 in Toledo, Ohio. Now, in 1970, she moved to Chicago, Illinois. Now, she would marry Archibald Good, and they would have children and, open up their own furniture store, which who would know that opening her own furniture store would lead to where I'm going with her and her importance in history. Now, many of the customers that she had sold to were living in like small apartments, really couldn't fit a lot of furniture in there. They buying things, but just really couldn't fit in, all their furniture in, where they were living. So she got the great idea of putting together a folding bed. Now she made that in 1885, and now she received a patent for it. I'm sorry, in 1885. She is the first African American in the United States to receive an actual patent. So I want to honor Miss Sarah Good, the first Black woman to receive a patent in the United States. Did you know that one, Erica?
I did. I did. And
Ah,
and so she's essentially the reason that we have the futon today. Um, her design is what led to the futon and IKEA's designs and all of that. So, yes, I did.
oh my goodness. I thought I had you with one, but hey, you came through with the knowledge. But it's just amazing. We're kicking off Women's History Month, and it's just amazing what the strength, the great things that Black women have done just for communities, just for people. And it's just, I wanted to start it off with Sarah Good because she didn't wait for anybody to go tell her she could do this, that, and the other. She just went and did it, which I applaud her for that. And just she opened the door for so many other people to go get patents, to create things, and not wait on somebody else to tell them, "Hey, you can go do this now." And that's what I have to applaud about her.
Yeah, and actually there are so many more. And well, like I told you, I teach Black history on my TikTok. Um, and there are a lot of Black women in history that just did not get that credit, right? And so oftentimes we hear this person is the first, this person is the first, and I think we actually don't know who the first is because of how history they didn't really record a lot on Black women as far as they times amazing things that they did in time. There's another young Black woman named Lida Newton. And Lida, when you talk about testament to not waiting on someone, Lida ran away from slavery at the age of 13. And she showed up in New York City and she started working at a beauty salon. And she caught on like really quickly. And at that time, The only brushes that were available were like the boar's hair brushes, because they were meant to brush, the hair of white women. And whenever she would do her client's hair, the boar's hair, the brush would break, the bristles on the brush would break. So Lida invented the hairbrush with the synthetic fibers. And so basically the brush that we use today for our hair. And the brush she invented had a detachable handle so that you could switch the heads out and you could clean the brushes easily. And so she actually invented two, the skinny one and then the fat headed one that we use. Um,
Hmm.
she received her patent in 1836, and she actually was in Henry E. Baker's African American patent book. So like it's a lot of Black women in history. She was one of the front runners for women's suffrage movement, helping women and Black women get the right to vote. And she actually, the last record of her was in 1917, and it was her voter's record. And what's so funny is like her death date is unknown, but we know that she was registered to vote in 1917, and we know, when she got her patent, but nothing else about her life is actually recorded. So there's a lot of Black women in history like that. So I'm
Yeah,
happy that we're getting their stories out now.
definitely, definitely. And of course, this month, hopefully, we'll be able to get more and more of their stories out. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to get into your story and how you became the brand NoDat on touring the AFC South with your host, Mike Patton. Whether it's local or long distance, Milligan Logistics has you covered. Milligan Logistics was established in 2020 with over a combined 15 years of experience in trucking, hauling, and logistics, along with over 50 years collectively of project management experience. Again, whether it's near or far, Milligan Logistics has you covered with quality service, efficiency while taking pleasure. Whether it's local or long distance, Milligan Logistics has you covered. Milligan Logistics was established in 2020 with over a combined 15 years of experience in trucking, hauling, and logistics, along with over 50 years collectively of project management experience. Again, whether it's near or far, Milligan Logistics has you covered with quality service, efficiency while taking pleasure and exceeding clients' expectations. Need goods moved short or long distance? Milligan Logistics has you covered. Just reach out to them at 615-354-2618. That's 615-354-2618. Or you can send them an email at milliganlogistics@gmail.com. And again, that's milliganlogistics@gmail.com. And we're back from commercial break. Milligan Logistics guy, check them out. All right, but now I mentioned before the break, I wanted to get into your story. Now, like me, you are a Nashville native. So, how was it growing up just in Nashville, kind of the younger years? And also, I want to mention as well, of course, she is a PK. So, we got to get those interesting stories.
Oh my gosh, you don't want that. Oh man.
But yeah.
Growing up, let's see. I was a cheerleader. I was a cheerleader.
Okay. I
Um,
did not know that.
yeah, I was really one of those kids. So from I would say elementary school to middle school, I was one of those kids that kind of just read books, and I wanted to be an author. So like I used to take like a whole bunch of copy paper and fold it up and write all kind of fantasy books. Um, I I was really what they called me nerdy. I was really nerdy as a kid. And then middle school, I got onto the cheerleading squad and started hanging out uh, with my friends and just Started living life all the way up until my senior year in high school, and I ended up getting kicked out of school my senior year. So um, yeah, I talk about it like it's not a big secret.
Mhm.
Things about me is I have relieved myself of all type of shame from my past, and it's how I build power for my future. But my younger brother was getting gamed on the school bus, and our friends was running to me and telling me about it. So I was trying to get to him, and the principal grabbed me, and I didn't even know it was her who grabbed me. I got out of her hold and I kicked her in the back, not thinking, and that got me expelled. But I did end up getting my degree anyway. I went to college. Um, I went to TSU undergrad, and then ended up graduating from Cumberland University out of Lebanon, and then I went to MTSU for graduate school. So
Yes, a lot of definitely a different path, but still a successful path in
yeah,
terms of getting where you wanted to go. Now, I've got to ask, okay, how was it? I know it had to be a little bit different because you grew up, with a lot of with your siblings, of course, and then also, you grew up with the church kind of over you. So, how was that experience a little bit different than what your friends kind of experienced?
oh, we couldn't do nothing. We couldn't do anything. Like we had to sneak and go to the movies. We couldn't listen to secular music. So as I was telling you, like I don't know a lot of the songs from the 90s that a lot of people today reminisce on. So a lot of those songs are new to me. Um, we It was interesting. We were in church 7 days a week. We had sunshine band on Mondays, Bible study on Tuesdays. Wednesday night was youth choir rehearsal. No, Wednesday night was drill team, and then Thursday night was like the usher board. Like we had every night there was something, and then Saturday would be choir. Friday night service, Saturday choir rehearsal, and then Sunday we had Sunday school, morning worship, and then 7:30 service. So we were in church 7 days a week, just about.
So basically, what you're saying is your middle name was Church.
Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't think I've ever like really just talked about this a lot, but I once was an ordained missionary. And
Wow, didn't know that. No, oh, I'm saying no. That see, there I go. But
yeah, I was an ordained missionary. Yeah,
wow, wow.
in my
Okay,
20s.
okay, all right, all right. Okay, all right, all right. We're gonna have to talk about that one. But so
Yeah.
I want to ask, how was the transition in terms of from being kicked out of high school to actually graduating to you know being a student, and then also of course during that time and some of your time as a student being a mom as well. So
Mhm.
how was handling all of that going on at one time? How was that?
It was not easy. I had a great support system with my friend Lucan. Um, I met her at my son's community football. I signed him up for football at UNA, and we just hit it off. And she immediately jumped in like a second mother to my kids. And if it were not for her, I don't think I would have been able to even accomplish half the stuff that I have accomplished. Um, but I made the decision. I kept changing my major in college. So I was I initially went to be a teacher, and then I changed to psychology, and then working at AT&T, I loved that job. Like I loved working there. Although it was at some points I had a director who just hated my guts, but the coworkers there were my family as well. and I wanted to advance. I wanted to move up the corporate ladder. I had a goal of being VP of loyalty and retention. So I changed my major to business. And it was a lot easier because AT&T paid for it. And they started sending me to like the AT&T headquarters to teach me how to, manage a call center. And I decided to go to graduate school to get my master's in organizational leadership, just because of the atmosphere and the discipline that I learned from AT&T. So it was a combination of me wanting to pull my hair out because at that same time my father passed away. Um,
Oh,
yeah, so I was dealing with that too. My best friend in the whole entire world was now gone, so I was dealing with that. 4 kids, um, and trying to figure out what I actually want to do with my life. And what's so crazy is that I, I'm not even what I learned in college uh, regarding business and organizational leadership was more so how to manage somebody else's business and not build your own. So I feel like I'm in college again. I feel like I'm in graduate school again right now. I'm getting my MBA from the streets of startup experience. So
all right. Okay, okay. So I'm not alone then, because I have a marketing degree, but I can honestly say I've never worked any marketing job ever. The first job I had, the first try I had of a marketing job was, let's see, I went to an office and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna send you out with this guy. We're gonna send you to Columbia." So I pulled up Franklin, jumped in the car with him. We're going door to door and we're selling these little packages of like I guess AT&T or something. I can't remember what it was, but we are going door to door. And I'm like, did I go to school to do this? That's the first thing I'm thinking in my mind. I'm like, yeah, I really didn't go to school to do this. So this ain't gonna work. So I literally did that job one day, decided, yeah, I'm not coming back tomorrow. So I literally didn't come back. I did another job, same thing. And they told me it was something different, but when I went there, same thing. Quit that job right after that day. And yeah, so that was the extent of my experience doing any marketing jobs right there.
it's so crazy because I think when we're young we don't know what we really want to do. There's so many people who say that they're not in the field that they went to college for. Um, it's really interesting.
Definitely, definitely very interesting. And speaking of interesting, we're going to get into the interesting part where NoDat is born right after the break on Touring the AFC South with your host, Mike Patton. Did you see my picture on the artwork for the show? Well, it was taken by. Did you see my picture on the artwork for the show? Well, it was taken by Joshua Silver's photography. Let me tell you, he handled the whole shoot with class and professionalism, and he can do the same for you. Whether it's a model shoot, couples photos, headshots, maternity shoot, senior photos, or more, he has you covered. Just give him a call at 423-557-6746. Again, that's 423-557-6746. Or you can check him out on Instagram at Joshua Silver's Photography to book your shoot. Again, Joshua Silver's Photography, where class and professionalism meets great photos. And welcome back. Before we left, we were kind of getting to and leading up to the birth of NoDat. Now, I know this story because, I kind of cheated a little bit because I actually wrote an article on Aireka before, y'all. So I
Yeah,
kind of cheated a little bit. But if you can, give them the story on how NoDat was born.
the famous water park story that yeah. Yeah, so in late 2016 my son came to me. I was in college. I was in graduate school. at the time, and I was in my room just chilling in my bed watching TV, and my son bust in my room and he's like, "Mom, did you know there was a new water park here?" And I looked at him and I was like, "No, how did you find out about it?" And he shared with me that his friends were teasing him on Snapchat with videos because it was the last day of summer and the park was closing and it was too late for them to go. And I got upset. I got upset because I'm like, how in the world do we live in Nashville and there's this water park that opens and nobody knows, nobody around me has said that a new water park, you know, was in our area. And then I started calling around and asking people if they heard of this water park, and only one person in my entire network knew about it. And she said it was only $3 a day too. And I was like, what? Every mama should know that. And I told my son that somebody should build an app that rewards locals for sharing what they know and call it NoDat. And he looked at me and he said, why don't you do it? And at that time, I had not seen, which is really interesting because there are so many Black people that were actually in tech and engineering before now. We just didn't know about it. But at that time, I didn't know about any Black people in tech, let alone Black women. And so I decided, like, yeah, why not me? And so I jumped out there on the ledge and started working on it, and hired a company out of Chandigarh, India. And we worked on building the app for 6 months, and then we launched July of 2017 from India.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So, as far as this app, can you kind of explain to people what it does and what the connectivity with neighborhood and community that this app kind of presents and adds to everything?
Yeah. So as I said, we launched it in 2017. So we have gone through several different ideations and uh, adding and taking away things to solve the problem of what we're really solving is like a information gap. There's so much information out there and it's being thrown at us at fast pace and large amounts to the point to where we don't really know what's going on because most of the information that's coming to us isn't relevant to us. So our initial problem that we were solving was relevancy and trying to make sure that we received information about events, businesses, um, resources that were relevant to us and our local area. And so we initially started out with video reviews. So we were the TikTok before TikTok was a thing. Everybody at that time was still posting on Facebook and posting pictures on Instagram. So it was writing captions and posting images, video, people getting up in the morning, not caring what they look like on video was not a thing yet. And we were trying to make it a thing. Even though we got some traction with it, it was really hard for us to change consumer behavior. And we're really grateful that TikTok has done a lot of the work for us now. They had the bank account to do it, to train people, on this concept. And so now we can add that media piece back. But we took that away and then we started focusing on geo targeting and allowing consumers to decide which businesses can text them, which businesses can send push notifications to them. And so we, from we've always been big on consumer privacy. And so because of that and the way the market is changing with focusing on consumer privacy, and because we've always done that, we've now shifted our focus to uh, AI and machine learning while protecting the consumer's privacy. So NoDat now is an AI empowered app that makes tailored recommendations um, for you based on your personal interest and needs, all while protecting your privacy, which is so cool. Today we tested our machine, so we've been training the machine, and we think we are ready to launch Savant I've been having a lot of conversations with Savant. I forgot my friend's birthday this weekend, and I text Savant. I was like, Savant, I was like, I need a brunch place to take my friend. I forgot her birthday, and I did a sad face, and Savant was like, "Oh, it's okay, I gotcha. Here's where you should take her, and here's why you should take her there." And then like the personalization is so cool because it's like, "Oh, your best friend, blah blah blah, will love this." Because when you download NoDat, you basically tell Savant who you are, um, what you're interested in. Like, uh, I'm Erica. I'm a woman. I'm 42 years old. I'm looking for women-owned LGBTQTI owned businesses. I'm vegan. I have 2 kids. Blah blah blah. So like, you're telling about who you are, so that your recommendations are tailored to you.
Man, that sounds great. And I know everyone listening is hearing that brilliance that is being spewed out to us. Of course, you skipped over one part of the story that I didn't want to mention, though.
Oh,
You
what?
did actually, the part where you went from working at AT&T downtown in the Bat Building
Yeah,
to full time with
yeah.
NoDat. Now, I've got to hear this story.
Oh man, I don't know. Did I ever tell you the story about how I made the decision to
I
leave?
don't know if you did.
Yeah, so it was really hard to make that decision. Like I said, my goal was to climb the corporate ladder. I was making $100,000 a year. I loved everybody there. Like, it wasn't work. Like, they would be like, "Hey, we got to work doubles today," and I'm like, "Okay, cool," because it didn't feel like work when I was there. Um, and so at the same time, I'm meeting with developers early in the morning and then on my lunch break, and so I'm juggling a lot. And so one morning, as I'm getting ready and meditating, I said, God, I need to know. I said, you're not the author of confusion. I need to know if it's time for me to leave AT&T and work on building this company full time. And I said, if it's time for me to leave, well, and let me go back for a second. So my boss, who is an investor in my company now, but he had already promised me the next promotion, which was a step up from where I was. He had already told me that, that next promotion was mine. And so this morning, like, when I'm talking to God and I'm asking, should I make this decision? I put a stipulation on it. I was like, let me go in to work tomorrow and let Jeremy tell me that, he decided not to give me the job. So I get to work, and Jeremy comes and he taps me on the shoulder and he's like, "Can I see you in my office?" And when I get in there, he tells me that he decided not to give me the job. And I was initially upset. Like, I was, really mad, and I forgot all about the prayer. And I got back to my desk and I was like, "Oh, I did ask for that, didn't I?" And so I put my 2 weeks notice in, I think the next day, and everybody started coming to me saying that, I'm just upset and I'm taking too much of a risk, and it's not my turn to dream. It's my children's turn to dream. Like, my mother was like, "You just built that $300,000 house, and now you about to leave that job." Like, everybody was coming down on me, and so I took it back. I took it back, and I decided to stay, and I ended up staying for 3 more months. And it was just a lot. I was not doing well at AT&T because there was always somebody that needed my attention at NoDat while I was, giving and selling my time to AT&T. So I went back to God and I said, "Okay, all right. Now I know you're not the author of confusion, so I'm gonna ask you one more time." I was like, "I really need to know, is it time for me to leave?" And I said, "If it is time for me to leave, um, I will know by the end of this week." And so that Wednesday, I had a finance meeting with our accountant and one of my the co-founder that I had at the time. And an investor basically said that he would, at that meeting, he was like, you gotta, my accountant was like, it's time for you to go. He was like, you cannot keep juggling both of these things. He's like, plus you're selling your time to AT&T when you need to be out talking to businesses and raising awareness about NoDat and generating revenue. And an investor said, I'll give you $40,000 to go full time. And I was like, okay, that's the answer that I needed. And so I went back to work, because I actually left work on my lunch break to go to that finance meeting. And so then I went back to work and I put my 2 weeks notice in. And this time I stuck to it.
All right, all right. I had to hear that story. Definitely. You're out there, of course, chasing your dream and making what some may think may be the impossible possible happen. And I want to, of course, thank you for coming on the show and kind of giving everyone your story, the creation of NoDat, and the belief in self that you have, and the belief in God and messaging that you had as well. I greatly appreciate you for coming on. But I have one question for you before we get to the last part of the show. Who is one woman or Black woman or just one woman in general that actually was a inspiration or kind of like I guess, guidance or motherly figure, or someone like that kind of gave you guidance along the way?
That's not my mom.
Yeah.
One woman, I don't even think, I would have to say Sherry Dolchman. Did you say Black woman or just woman, period?
Black woman, which one, however you want to take the question.
Sherry Dolchman. Um, she will always be someone that I see in my corner, and she's someone who, at a time like this, journey has not been easy. Every other day, I'm asking myself, why in the heck did I decide to make this decision? But at a time where I was about to give up, Sherry called me out of the blue and invested in my company, and has been a champion. Has been somebody that I could email and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about. Hey, I need some advice. She has been that person. And she is very well known in Nashville. She's very busy, this multi-millionaire woman. Like the fact that she makes herself available for me to call her when I need advice on the stage where I am, even just life, even with talking about my kids, her kids are grown. I've even, Zoomed with her and I'm like, hey, this is what's going on, with my children right now. And she's giving me advice about that. So I would have to say Sherry Dolchman of Brain Trust. Yeah.
All right. All right. Now, we have reached the end of kind of the interview portion of the show, but now it's time for a game.
Okay.
We got 5 questions. I got 2 answers, and you got to give one choice. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Now, the first one, of course, is a Nashville connection here. Princess Hot Chicken or Slim and Huskies?
Slim and Huskies.
All right. Okay. I was going to say you might go Princess L, but hey, but okay, we're going old school. Opryland or Wave Country?
Opryland. I've never been to Wave Country. I used to work at Opryland.
I got a crazy story. I almost drowned at Wave Country when I was yeah. I fell through the little, I was out there and I fell through the actual little float device I was on, and I was trying to grab and get out of the actual water, but I kept missing and landing back in the water.
Oh my God.
I did that 4 times, but I eventually grabbed the side of the wall so I could get out of the water. But yeah, I literally almost drowned.
How old was you?
Yeah, I can't remember how old I was. I'm pretty sure none of my cousins actually know this story because I was over way off to the side and they were somewhere else. So
well, I'm glad you didn't drown.
I'm the only person that knows the story. But yeah, and for those that are listening, yes, this is going to be kind of a Nashville flavor to this entire 5 questions, 2 answers, and 1 choice. And of course, the next one. Yes, you're definitely going to know these events for sure.
Okay.
The African Street Festival which that happens at Hadley Park every year for those that are not from Nashville. And of course, the TSU parade, the homecoming parade, goes down Jefferson Street all the way to the stadium.
Yeah.
Which one is more memorable to you?
The TSU parade.
Yeah, I would say yeah, definitely the ones back in the day that used to go all the way down. Yeah, but I would say the African Street Festival was definitely coming along, and there's definitely a lot of people out there. But the parade, I mean, everyone was out there for the parade. It didn't matter if it was cold, hot, whatever.
We
Everyone
got
was
there
at the
selling
parade.
fish sandwiches.
Yep, yep. People out there with the fish sandwiches. You're right. You're right. Now, okay, we gotta go to the next one. Let's see. Um, Southern Heritage Classic or TSU Homecoming? Which one do you say is the bigger event for you?
I would say TSU homecoming. I'm not too familiar with the Southern Heritage Classic.
Oh yeah, Southern Heritage Classic, Memphis. Oh, usually facing Jackson State. Of course, they're going against Arkansas Pine Bluff this year.
Oh, okay. Sports.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I've definitely been there a few times to that. Of
Okay.
course, the last question I got for you. I hope you're ready for this one.
Okay.
All right, here we go. We got Buchanan Street. We got now if you're from Nashville, you say Buchanan. You don't say Buchanan. No, Buchanan.
Buckhannon.
Buchanan is how you say it. But you got Slim and Huskies, Minerva, you got Willie B's over there. You got Bag Lady, I think Bag Ladies you got there now too.
Yeah.
So you got all those places. Or Jefferson Street. You got TSU, you got Meharry, you got Fisk, you got let's see, you got Yay's over there, you got I'm trying to think. You've got golly, I'm thinking of other stuff. Oh, you got EG and Mag over there as well. So you got a lot of different things over there. If you had to go out and consider one place is the best time to have a good time, you going Buchanan or are you going Jefferson Street?
Buchanan.
Yeah, I figured you might say Buchanan. I did kind of sell that one up pretty good. I know.
Yeah.
For those that aren't
But
aware,
I've been to all of those.
What's
I
that?
did couple Bag Ladies. I haven't been to Bag Ladies yet, but I've heard a lot of good things about them.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been to all the other places on Buchanan.
Now, for those that aren't aware, both are in North Nashville. Jefferson Street is in North Nashville, and Buchanan Street is in North Nashville. Now, again, I'm gonna tell people it is not Buchanan Street; it's Buchanan. If you're
Buchanan.
from Nashville, you do not say Buchanan. You do not say Buchanan. You say Buchanan. It's how
Yeah.
you say it.
And then you might say Buchanan. But
There you go. That's right. That's right. That's right. But yeah, Buchanan definitely has like a lot of different things on it and a lot of different things. And of course, Christian Fulton has his little story there too. Has his story there. I shouldn't say little. I hate when people say
I
little about
know,
whatever they're doing.
yeah.
He has his story there too. So
Who does so?
Titans cornerback Christian Fulton.
Oh, okay.
He has his story there too, right next to Willie B's.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that has been 5 questions, 2 answers, and 1 choice. And that has been our show with Miss Aireka Harvell. Now, I will say, the floor is yours. You can tell everyone where they can find your app, where they can find you, and what all you have going on social media, YouTube. You did mention your history channel on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
The floor is yours.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. First off, let me say that I enjoyed this conversation. And then I hope my answers were not long-winded. I tend to be very long-winded when I talk, so I apologize about that. But yeah, you can find me on TikTok at it's either Thinker or In Growth, so the letter N and then Growth. Same thing for YouTube. And our app, NoDat, NoDat, you can find on Apple and Android. And we're going to launch Savant here pretty soon. So you'll have the ability to build your own relationship with your very own personal AI that makes tailored recommendations for you while in your local area and while you're traveling around, all while protecting your personal privacy and data online.
Yes, definitely something. If you're traveling, you want to get NoDat. If you move around Nashville, you definitely want to get NoDat. Say what? NoDat.
No,
Okay, but but
I didn't
definitely
know
thank
that
you for your
they
time.
say Buck Cannon. No.
Thank you for your time. Thank you everyone for listening and watching Touring the AFC South with your host Mike Patton. We're out.